New puppy training is an essential step for any new puppy owner. 2 essential puppy skills to concentrate training straight away: a simple puppy recall and how to get your puppy used to handling. Well, today I've got 2 puppy training experts to teach you these essential puppy skills. I'm Dr. Alex from ourpetshealth.com, helping you and your pet to live a healthier, happier life. And today I'm really excited to introduce you to Ken and Kayl from the YouTube channel McCann Dogs, which I'll link up here and down below in the description. Now, not only have McCann Dogs trained over 80,000 dogs, but Kayl is also 21 times world champion in dog agility. So what they don't know about new puppy training just simply isn't worth knowing. But that's enough from me, and I'll hand you over to Ken to guide you through simple puppy recall training and getting your puppy used to handling.
A big thank you to Dr. Alex and everyone at Our Pets Health for inviting us to hang out with you guys today. Now, my name's Ken Steep, and I'm from a YouTube channel called McCann Dogs, where every single week we publish a new video to help you spend some quality time with your 4-legged family member. At our training facility, McCann Professional Dog Trainers, we've helped over 80,000 dogs to be good family members since 1982. And in that time, we've collected a lot of data about learning styles, about puppy tendencies, about training techniques and procedures, but we've also collected a lot of information about what skills puppies and dogs need the most. So today I thought I'd share with you a couple of important skills that you should be working on as a puppy owner with your 4-legged family member. Having a great recall can be a life-saving skill. We often hear stories about former students who their dog was chasing an animal, or they slipped out the front door and our students called come and the dog turned around before they got to the road or before they got into a dangerous situation. In a minute, I'm going to introduce you to somebody who knows a little bit about dog training. It's 21-time world champion of dog agility, Kayl McCann, and she's going to talk to us about how to get a great motivated recall from our puppy.
Now, I like to do something with my puppy every single day, whether I'm training her to do something to do with agility or just basic dog training. I like to do something small every single day. Now, today I thought I would play around with my puppy's recall. Now, she's 11 months old, and knock on wood, her recall is pretty reliable. She's off leash most of the time, but what I know about dog training is that it's often a really smart idea to practice skills around distractions when you don't actually, need them, or it's not an emergency situation. So rather than waiting until she's actually distracted chasing after something or looking at something that's very exciting to her, it's a good idea for me to practice my recall, setting up some of my own distractions to work on reliability and get a lot of opportunity to get some rewards in. So I'm going to play around with some of that right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is just sort of hang out here and not really look like I'm about to do something, because I often struggle with distracting my dog, because if she thinks I'm up to something, she pays too good of attention to me. So I'm just going to sort of let her wander around a little bit, and when she's not focused on me, I'm going to call her to come. And when you practice something like this, mix up the endings. Sometimes when I call her, I'm going to praise her and just have fun and tug and play, or even use some food. Other times I might make her come in and be really stationary and controlled and sit. So she's not really paying attention right now. Become, yeah, good girl. Yay, good girl. Yes, good girlie. Yay! Good! Yes, it's a good girl. Out. Sit. Sit. Good girl. Yes. Good. Okay, go fine. I think she's already on to me. I might have to do... Become... Yes! That was a good one! Yay! Good girl! Yes! That was a fast one! Good! Girl! Oh, this is a smart thing. Out. Sit. Yes! Get it! So she sat a lot faster that time, so I'm going to reward her for listening by letting her play tug again. Good girl, Miss Beehead. Become. Yes! Good girl! Yay! Yeah! Good girl! So as I've been trying to practice here, she's sort of catching on to the game. So I'm going to sort of make a distraction. I have a little piece of chicken wiener here, hot dog, and I'm just going to throw it out in the grass and let her sniff and try and find it. Once I see that she's gotten it, I'm going to call her, and I expect her to stop sniffing and come to me right away. And then this time I'm going to choose to reward her by way of food. So when she gets in close, I'm going to draw her in, get her to sit, reward her often, just to get her calm and settled. And some dogs might prefer this style of reward over the other. I think she prefers to play and tug and be crazy, but I don't want a crazy dog all the time. Sometimes I do want her to be calm, so I make sure I practice both. Become. Yes. Sit. Yay. That was a good one. Yes. So I'm going to reward her several times when she gets me. And the other thing we recommend you do is also practice sometimes taking a hold of their collar, because if you need to hook a leash on or get them focused, get their control, a lot of dogs will boot out of the way when you put your hand in their collar. So she's really used to me putting my hand there because she knows I'm going to get rewards. Out and give them right to her. Good girl. Yes. And then last but not least, she's not allowed to leave this until I release her, so she doesn't just use me as a drive-through. You make sure you hold that sit, young lady. Okay.
It's often overlooked. People don't really recognize the importance of it, but in just a moment, Kayl's going to talk to us about how to make your puppy comfortable with handling, whether it's to be scooped up in an emergent scenario or whether they're going for an assessment at the veterinarian.
Now, what I'm going to do is start off with the very first step to some of this handling. And when I want to touch different parts of her body, the first thing I want to make sure is that she's in a completely relaxed position and maybe not where she's trying to do tricks right now. So what I'm going to do is take a piece of food. I'm just going to lure her into a down position. And I want her to be rotated onto one hip. So all I did there, I'll show you that again, is I just moved her head towards her shoulder. And that causes her to flip over onto one side. I'm just going to give her all the food in my hands, because once the food's out of my hands, I'm going to allow her to be a little calmer. Now, I like that there's a blanket under here because I can pull her around a little easier. Now, what I'm going to do is brace her outside leg, and I'm going to just gently push on her shoulders to get her on her side. Good girl. Once she's on her side, here, monkey moo, I'm just going to pat her very calmly. Good girl. On your side. Yes, and I actually teach an on your side command. On your side. Good girl. Shh. Good girl. And I want her to lay here completely calmly until I release her. Good girl. On your side. Good girl. Now, for some dogs, you certainly could incorporate a lot of feeding, but this particular puppy is very, very food motivated. And the more that I use food, the more frantic behavior I get because she likes it so much. So she actually responds a lot better to just really calm praise and calm petting and touching. Good girl. On your side. Good girl. Very nice. Once she's relaxed and I can tell her, okay, good girl, and let her get up from there. So that's step one. That's what I would start off before you do any touching of the body parts. Good girl. Yes. Now, once your dog is very comfortable laying on their side, they're relaxed and they're calm, lie down on your side. Good girl. The next thing I would do is start to touch different body parts. Now, I have a bag of cheese hidden behind my leg right now. It's out of sight, so it's not super distracting. And if B is able to lay here calmly as I touch her paws, I'm going to say yes and then reward her. Now, the timing of this is very important. I need her to believe that the best part of this, I love bug, the best part of this is when I actually touch her paw. It's important that I use the word yes to pinpoint that before I get my food out. So I'm going to get her back on her side here. On your side. Good girl. Settle. Good. On your side. So I'm going to take a hold of her paw. Good. On your side. Oh, you're so good. Yes. So I'm going to say yes while I hold her paw, and then I'm going to get my cheese out to reward her. Good girl. Good. Yes. Very nice. Good. What I wouldn't want to do is hold the paw, let go, yes, and get the food out, because I want her to think the best part so that I'm actually touching her body parts. So timing is really important in dog training. They learn within 1 second, so it's very important when you use your pinpoint word, it's at the right time. So I'm going to try the other paw now. Good girl. I might even make it a little harder, spread her toes apart, pull on each individual nail. That's something that I would have to do. Oops, settle. So she's a little bit uncomfortable with that. So I'm just going to lay her down again. Settle. Good girl. Yes. So she was completely calm that time. You are so smart. Good girl. Try your back feet. Good girl. Oh, she's a good baby. Yes. Good girl. So yes while I'm touching, and then reward. I got one more paw to do. Good girl. Lie down. Atta girl. Settle. There. Oh, that's good, B. Yes. Good girl. This is a really easy thing to practice, between commercials or between shows while you're watching commercials, rather. It's also good to practice this while your dog is already a little bit tired in the beginning so that they're more likely to settle. And then as they get more experienced with it, you can also practice when they're more excited. Unfortunately, you can't always choose the energy level of your dog when you take them to the vet for an appointment. They need to be able to be comfortable with this type of handling any time of the day and in any situation. You are ridiculous. Good girl. Now, it's not always convenient to have your dog laying on their side to do handling. There's going to be times where you need to look in their eyes, check their ears, look in their teeth, and for that, I usually prefer to have my dog sitting. So again, I'm going to get rid of the food for a second, and I'm just going to have my hand in her collar just to brace her a little bit. What I also like to do, I'm just going to swing her this way so you can see, is brace my hand underneath her chin to help keep her head still. And again, if your dog's not very used to you holding them in this position, I would take the time to pat and praise calmly. Yes, good girl. Yes, and you could even just certainly start off by rewarding that. Now, I have done this with this puppy since the day I brought her home at 8 weeks old, so she's quite comfortable with this, but some puppies take a little longer. So you can see she just sort of settles when I hold her there, which means I can look in her eyeballs really easily, I can look in her ears really easily, make sure there's no dirt or grime in there. Also too, this is going to sound really strange, but one of the easiest ways to tell whether your dog has an ear infection, hi babe, is by smelling their ear. If they have a funky smell coming from there, they might have an ear infection. So can she be still as I get, without kissing me? Yes. Get my nose near her ear to smell it. Good girl. Yes, you're so good. And again, I take my time doing this. It's a good idea to practice handling when you don't actually have to check them from something. I have some time to do this. I can take it slow. Now, last but not least, their mouth. This is one of the hardest things. So when I start to work on being able to look inside their mouth, I start off by just simply being able to lift her teeth. Look at those pearly whites. Yes, good girl. If she allows me to lift her lips to see her teeth, I would reward that. Then I could practice maybe trying to open her mouth for a moment. So I have my fingers braced behind her teeth. I'm just going to open her bottom jaw there. So she wasn't quite leveling that, so I'm going to try it again. Good girl. Yes, good. So see how I just had her do it for just a moment? What I'm looking for is acceptance. I'm looking for her to be still, to be calm. If she's fighting me and trying to pull her head out of my way, I don't want to be yesing and rewarding that. So I'm going to hold her head again. Try one more time. Yes, good girl. Excellent, very nice. And I can just do little bits at a time. When you're doing handling, you can, choose to do, one body part and do that for a little bit. And then maybe the next day do something different. Depending on the comfort level of your dog, it's always best to build on success so that your dog doesn't get worried or stressed during this, and they actually find it a pretty nice, relaxing, calm time with you. Being able to handle your dog in order to check their ears or their eyes, clip their toenails is obviously very important and something that you'll need to use every single day. But unfortunately, there could be a time in your dog's life where you need to be able to handle them in order to save their life or to get them out of an emergency situation. I know I've had a couple of those myself. I've had a dog get a fish hook caught in her leg while I was swimming her at a conservation area one time, and she had to lie perfectly still so that I could get it out very strategically so that I didn't injure her any further, and she laid perfectly quiet and allowed me to do that, which I was so grateful for. I also had another dog that had Addison's disease, and I had to give her medication every single day for years by mouth. And so if that was a stressful thing for her or for that could have been a really hard thing for me to be able to do every single day with her.
Well, I hope this video has given you some training ideas for your new puppy. It's such a fun time when you bring a puppy home and you get to work with them, but investing that time and effort is invaluable at this point in their learning. These are the kinds of skills that will last them a lifetime. A big thank you to Dr. Alex and everyone at Our Pets Health for inviting us to come and hang out with you guys on the channel. And on that note, I'm Ken. Happy training.
So a huge thanks to Ken and Kayl for so generously sharing their expertise and years of experience training puppies and dogs with us today. Make sure you head over to McCann Dogs for a wealth of further training tips and techniques to help your new puppy or dog of any age fulfill their potential and help them to live an active, stimulated and happy life. For now though, I'm Dr. Alex from Our Pets Health. Make sure you subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on more videos all about helping you and your pet to live a healthier, happier life. And I'll see you next time.